I wanted to start the week off with some positivity. I know that when it comes to our weight and our body, especially after we've had bariatric surgery, that we can be super hard on ourselves. I remember when I felt like an epic failure, when I stopped losing and I still had 50 or 60 pounds to go. And I definitely feel so much empathy for you if you're feeling this way and people in the group that are struggling. The automatic feelings that come up and that are expressed are generally very self-deprecating. I often see comments like, I'm so disgusted with myself. And I get it. I really do. And I wanted to share a more constructive way that we can address our weaknesses and our failures. And that failure word, I try not to use it often because I feel in my heart that it is such a negative word. Because the truth is that weaknesses in ourselves that we label as failures are just simply lessons that we need to learn. We are all here on this earth to learn and to grow, right? I mean, things that come easy to us are not lessons. They're just not. If they're easy, they're things we've already learned. It's the tough struggles where our greatest lessons lie and our greatest opportunities for growth. I've learned through my own coaching and therapy that saying terrible things to myself and beating myself up over lessons that I'm still trying to learn always makes the situation worse, not better. Because when we're trying to tackle a weakness from a place of fear and guilt and shame, it really just keeps us closed in and in pain, not open to the lesson and not open to growth. So today I wanted to talk about some practical strategies to address our weak parts or our lessons that we need to learn or things we want to improve on with a non-judgmental curiosity and some self-love and compassion. All right, so get out a pen and paper and let's dive into some practical steps that we can apply when we're trying to improve or grow. Step number 1 is identify. Identify the areas in your life or in your personality that are a perceived weakness to you. And a weakness is just defined as an area where you desire improvement. So identify and spend some time thinking about where you feel like you're routinely just all the time beating yourself up. Is it a lack of motivation to exercise, being short-tempered, giving into crap food too often, sweets, super common one. All right, so you've identified. Step number 2 is write them down in your journal. This is sort of the next step, which is acceptance. So identify, accept. What we really want to do here is simply embrace the weakness as just a part of you. A you that is imperfectly lovely just as you are. A you that has many wonderful strengths. No one is perfect. And so instead of berating your imperfections, let's choose to acknowledge them and accept them for right now. It's as if you have a really wonderful, sweet husband, right? But he's like the most disorganized, messy person you've come across. I don't know if any of you can relate. Chances are good that you accept that he's messy. And you just maybe even say, that's just him. You probably don't yell at him every day telling him he's a lazy pig. Are you with me? So that's acceptance. Step number 3 is to become aware. Notice when these weaknesses come up. This is super hard because these habits are generally automatic and we often do them without thinking much about it. But with a little practice, you can get better at becoming an observer. Become aware of the weakness when it shows up. So when you're in the fridge looking for a sweet treat, just say, I'm looking for a sweet treat. So let's say the lack of control over food choices is a weakness that you perceive right now. Now, lovingly acknowledge this when the next time this lack of control kind of manifests for itself, right? Next time it comes up. And instead of telling yourself, oh, you're so weak and lazy, you'll never have the body you want, just simply state the facts and the feelings. It might sound like this. I feel a lack of control over food when I'm stressed or around others who are enjoying the food that I want. See, awareness is the missing key to change in many areas of our life, just simply being aware. Because so often when we lack the awareness of the weakness in our life, we just simply allow frustration in its place. We even sometimes project our frustrations with ourselves onto those we love or those around us, which can create relationship discord and lead to us engaging in self-sabotaging behaviors, such as overeating, eating more sugar, using alcohol, just all in efforts to avoid the feelings of our discontent. So the goal in this awareness and acceptance is us choosing to become more aware without judgment. We can choose to look at our weaknesses from a curious standpoint. Just be curious rather than judgmental. We're trying to not attack ourselves. We're trying to just be curious. And when we can connect to our problem-solving abilities rather than our own fear-based self-attack, our possibilities for change are much greater. Step number 4 is that when you catch yourself talking down to yourself for displaying your weak area, make a different choice. Self-correct and choose to practice loving kindness towards yourself instead of berating yourself. I know most of us are terrible at this, and it will definitely take some practice. Practice this kindness as if you were teaching your child how to let go of bad habits or a bad habit and replace it with a better one. Embrace and love yourself in the same way you would a child. Acknowledge that it's highly likely that this very weakness that you struggle to improve upon is something you were not taught how to improve on as a child. You weren't given the tools. So you can make the choice now to parent yourself today, no matter how old you are. So instead of calling yourself fat and lazy for not working out, you could choose to say, sweetheart, I know you don't enjoy the thought of exercise, and that's okay. I understand. And also remember how good you feel after you do it. And that feeling that makes the whole day better. Do you think you'd be willing to just give it a chance, even just for a little while, say 15 minutes? I know it sounds silly, but I guarantee that option, that more loving approach, when you grant yourself that kind of kindness, it's going to get you way better results than the first scenario where you beat yourself up, right? It makes sense, right? Step number 5 is taking action. Set a goal with realistic expectations. Realistic means something you can actually do that's based on improving this weakness of yours that you want to improve on. And take small steps, small actions that are measurable, that are attainable, that are realistic, and that are time measured so that you can strive towards actions that will help improve this weakness. Like, I will get to the gym and choose the machine for 15 minutes and lift a few weights that I'm comfortable with. I'm going to do it 2 times a week, and I'm going to do it on Wednesday and Saturday sometime before 9 o'clock. And then schedule it in your planner. Don't forget to practice awareness as you reach your goals too, as you take these small steps, right? As you accomplish what you set out to do. Take notice of how you feel from accomplishing it. Allow yourself to be in the moment and tell yourself, great job today, just as you would reinforce positive behaviors in a child. Just as you would to a child you love, do this to your inner child. Maybe there are other changes that you can become aware of too, besides satisfaction, improved energy or improved mood, less stomach bloating or better bowel movements, less sugar cravings. But be aware of those too, because those very things that you notice that are better because you chose to implement some actions towards your goals, that's going to keep giving you momentum to keep carrying them forward. The idea I'm presenting here today is just one of acknowledging that we all have weaknesses. That is a measure of being human. There is 100% more benefit in looking at these weaknesses as just a part of you that you can nurture yourself out of and apply some practical strategies to, overcome them, and instead of beating yourself to death and getting nowhere but depressed and feeling shameful. The key is identifying the weaknesses you most wish to work on without judgment, forcing yourself to become aware when it shows up in your life, looking at the circumstances of it showing up with curiosity. Why? Ask yourself why. Why am I feeling this way? What is driving this? But use curiosity rather than disdain or frustration. And then just make a plan that includes a few small steps that you can take in order to make a little bit of progress towards this weakness. And most importantly, in all of these steps is using our feminine, mothering energy on ourselves for once. Choosing to give ourselves a little grace and love ourselves, imperfections and all. That idea was presented to me a while ago, the idea of mothering myself. And it was really strange when I first heard it, when a therapist suggested it to me. But it's really genuinely become one of my most favorite acts. It's made me love myself better and just honor my weak points, my ingrained bad behaviors. And it's taken away a lot of the burden of shame that was purely self-inflicted. I am no better and no worse than anyone else. I'm just a human doing the best I can with what I've been given. So I hope that at the very least, I can show you that you can love that little girl inside of you and recognize that she's a child of God and she deserves to be treated like one, right? I mean, what's that saying, like, straighten your crown? So that's what I wanted to talk to you all about today and give a little bit of positive inspiration for being a little bit more kind to yourself this week. In our coaching program called the Bariatric Success Method, we encourage each other to mother ourselves whenever our weaknesses show up. And it's become a well-used and helpful phrase, actually, amongst ourselves. So this week, I encourage you to mother yourself. I hope that you have a splendid week, and we do have a couple of masterclass and a webinar coming up this month. If you want to learn more about our coaching programs, we have a masterclass on September 6th and a program info session that goes into all the details of what we do in coaching on September 14th. So please watch for the registration links in the Facebook group, and also I'll be sending out some emails. Have a safe and enjoyable Labor Day weekend coming up next weekend. And I will see you all again soon. Take care.